Hello, dear students. Have a nice day to all. Today we are going to take up Class 10 Supplementary Reader in English, Footprints Without Feet. Let's move on to the first chapter, A Triumph of Surgery. Here, triumph means victory, and surgery generally it means an operation, but here in this chapter, it suggests a clinic or a place where a doctor treats the patients. So, this story is written by James Alfred White, who was known by his pen name James Herriot. James Herriot was a British veterinary surgeon and writer who had many years of experience as a veterinary surgeon, and this experience helped him to write many stories about animals and their owners. Now, let's start the lesson. I was really worried about Tricky this time. I had pulled up my car when I saw him in the street with his mistress, and I was shocked at his appearance. He had become hugely fat, like a blotted sausage with a leg at each corner. His eyes, bloodshot and rheumy, stared straight ahead, and his tongue lolled from his jaws. Mrs. Pumphrey hastened to explain. He was so listless, Mr. Herriot. He seemed to have no energy. I thought he must be suffering from malnutrition, so I have been giving him some little extras between meals to build him up, some malt and cod liver oil, and a bowl of Horlicks at night to make him sleep. Nothing much really. Here, the narrator begins the story by telling us that he was worried about Tricky. Tricky was a pet dog. The narrator stopped his car when he saw Tricky with his mistress on the road. And the narrator was shocked to see Tricky because, he looked like a blotted sausage. Here, blotted means, swollen up. Tricky had become extremely fat. And sausage means it's a kind of food item which is long and rounded shape. So the dog is also now looked like a swollen tube and which got a leg at each corner. The dog's eyes looked deep red, and there was, watery discharge from his eyes. And his tongue was lolling out of his jaws. Now, Mrs. Pumphrey, the owner of Tricky, was trying to explain Mr. Herriot what actually had happened to Tricky. She told Mr. Herriot that Tricky was looking so listless, which means he was without any energy. She thought that Tricky was suffering from malnutrition because he did not have any energy and excitement. So she gave him some extra food in between the regular meals. She gave him some malt, cod liver oil, and a bowl of Horlicks at night apart from the regular meals, so that he could get a good sleep at night. Now, even after giving so much to eat, she says that she doesn't give him much to eat. Now, let's continue reading. And did you cut down on the sweet things as I told you? Oh, I did for a bit, but he seemed to be so weak I had to relent. He does love cream cakes and chocolates, so I can't bear to refuse him. I looked down again at the little dog. That was the trouble. Tricky's only fault was greed. He had never been known to refuse food. He would tackle a meal at any hour of the day or night. And I wondered about all the things Mrs. Pumphrey had not mentioned. Are you giving him plenty of exercise? Well, he has his little walks with me, as you can see, but Hodgkin, the gardener, has been down with lumbago, so there has been no ring throwing lately. So, explanation of this paragraph. The narrator then asked her if she had cut down on the sweets as he had told her to do. So to this question, Mrs. Pumphrey replied that she did it for a while, but she felt that he was getting weaker, and so she had to stop being so harsh with him. She also said that she could not refuse him cream cakes and chocolates because those were the favorite things for Tricky. Now the narrator understood what was the problem with Tricky. The dog was very greedy and he could eat anything at any time of the day. He did not know how to say no to food, even when his stomach was full. The narrator thought to himself about other food items which Mrs. Pumphrey would have not mentioned it to him. Now the narrator asked her again whether Tricky was doing exercise. To this question, she replied that she took him out for walks once in a while, but he is not playing his ring throwing exercise because the gardener is sick these days. And the gardener used to take him out to play, but these days he is not coming as he has a pain in his lower back. Let me continue reading. I try to sound severe. Now, I really mean this. If you don't cut his food right down and give him more exercise, he is going to be really ill. You must harden your heart and keep him on a very strict diet. Mrs. Pumphrey wrung her hands. Oh, I will, Mr. Heriot. I am sure you are right, but it's so difficult, so very difficult. She set off, head down, along the road as if determined to put the new regime into practice immediately. I watched their progress with growing concern. Tricky was tottering along in his little tweed coat. He had a whole wardrobe of these coats for the cold weather and a raincoat for the wet days. He struggled on, drooping his harness. I thought it wouldn't be long before I heard from Mrs. Pumphrey. After hearing the explanation of Mrs. Pumphrey, the narrator became serious in his talk. He told her that if she did not control his eating habits and if not increased his exercises, he would soon fall ill. He told her to make her mind hard and to be strict with him and put him on a strict diet. Mrs. Pumphrey agreed, although she knew that Mr. Heriot was right. But for her, it was very difficult to refuse him for anything. Then she went away from there as if she was ready to follow the new routine properly. Mr. Heriot was watching them go and looking at Tricky, who was walking unsteadily. He was also looking at the tweed coat Tricky was wearing. Tweed coat means, woolen coat. Tricky had a wardrobe full of these coats, and also he had raincoats for the rainy days. So from this line we can understand that Mrs. Pumphrey was a very rich lady who can spend a lot of money for her dog. Looking at Tricky's walking, the narrator knew that very soon he would get a call from Mrs. Pumphrey about Tricky falling ill. The expected call came within a few days. Mrs. Pumphrey was distraught. Tricky would eat nothing, refused even his favorite dishes, and besides, he had bouts of vomiting. He spent all his time lying on a rug, panting, didn't want to go for walks, didn't want to do anything. I had made my plans in advance. The only way was to get Tricky out of the house for a period. I suggested that he be hospitalized for about a fortnight to be kept under observation. The poor lady almost swooned. She was sure he would pine and die if he did not see her every day. But I took a firm line. Tricky was very ill, and this was the only way to save him. In fact, I thought it best to take him without delay and followed Mrs. Pumphrey's wailings. I marched out to the car carrying the little dog wrapped in a blanket. So here, as the narrator had expected, he got a call from Mrs. Pumphrey within a few days. She was very upset because Tricky was not eating anything. He was not even eating his favorite cream cakes and chocolates, and he was also vomiting frequently. The whole day he was only lying on his rug, and he didn't want to do anything. Now, being a veterinary doctor, the narrator knew that the only way to cure Tricky was to get him out of the house for a few days. So he suggested Mrs. Pumphrey that Tricky should be hospitalized for 15 days and should be kept under his observation. Hearing that, Mrs. Pumphrey has become almost unconscious because she was sure that if Tricky did not see her every day, he would surely die. But the narrator was very strong to his words. He told her that hospitalization was the only option as Tricky was very, very ill. So the narrator thought to take Tricky to hospital as soon as possible without making any delay in it. He went to their house and he took the dog, wrapped it in a blanket and put him in the car. Mrs. Pumphrey was crying because she didn't want her dog to go away from her. But without considering her cries, the narrator took Tricky to his hospital. The entire staff was roused, and maids rushed in and out, bringing his day bed, his night bed, favorite cushions, toys, and rubber rings, breakfast bowl, lunch bowl, supper bowl. Realizing that my car would never hold all the stuff, I started to drive away. As I moved off, Mrs. Pumphrey, with a despairing cry, threw an armful of the little cords through the window. I looked in the mirror before I turned the corner of the drive. Everybody was in tears. Out on the road, I glanced down at the pathetic little animal gasping on the seat by my side. I patted the head, and Tricky made a brave effort to wag his tail. Poor old lad, I said. You haven't a kick in you, but I think I know a cure for you. Here, Mrs. Pumphrey asked the entire servants of her house to get out all the belongings of Tricky to send them to the hospital. So his stuff included things like his day bed, night bed, favorite cushions, toys, rubber rings, breakfast bowls, lunch bowl, snack bowl, etc. Mr. Harriet knew that all this stuff will not fit in his car. So what he did, he started to drive his car away from there. And at this time, Mrs. Pumphrey again threw a lot of cords into the car through the window. And as he was turning the car, he saw through the mirror that everyone was crying. He looked at the little dog and patted him on his head. To this touch, Tricky responded by wagging his tail. Then the narrator told Tricky that he knew that Tricky did not have any energy, but he surely had a way to get him better. Hope that you all understood up till here. We'll continue this chapter in the next session. Until then, take care. Bye.